So I just got these rear bumper mud flaps, splash guards, whatever you want to call them, from theplugs.co on Instagram. So on the first test fitting of this, I need a little work to bend it into place. See, the point is kind of sticking out. I feel like the 3M double-sided tape probably wouldn't hold it down enough. And it's saying right here, that's not fitting exactly how I want it. So I'm just gonna use a heat gun to kind of heat it up and mold it to shape before I use the tape and screw it on. So right now I'm just heating up the tip area. I'm gonna do this several times, and after I heat it, I'm gonna use a rag because it's hot, and it's just kind of try to bend it and hold it for a good minute. Use the rag so I don't burn myself, and just bend it just like this way to go with the natural curve of the bumper. Just bend it probably a little more than I need to, and just hold it for about a minute. Alright, now that I already heated it up a couple times and held it bent, see how that's fitting now? That's how you want it, not sticking out like it was. Now next, right here, this part, the angle is a little too much, so I'm gonna heat that up and kind of pull it out right at the top right there, so it sits a little more flush. So I don't know if you see the little gap right there, because I'm gonna pull it right on the corner with some of these. Alright, now that I heated it up and held it for a while, you can see that angle is much better. It was more of a acute angle now. Now it's a little more out than it needed to be, but the screw will hold it in tight. Alright, now that I heated everything up and bended it all, this is how it fits without any screws or tape or anything, so it's pretty nice. Fairly flush. I think the tape will do the job, and a couple screws. So I just sanded down this little lip on the corner so that the corner sits more flush, because without doing that, it's kind of a little gap in between the bumper and the corner. So now it should sit much better. Alright, so it comes with a little lip around the edge on top, and I don't really like that because it's not a really flush look with that lip. So I just used this rotary tool, Dremel tool, to sand off the whole lip. I'm gonna clean it up in a little bit, but so it's much more smooth, flush fitment. Alright, so I decided I'm gonna paint these before I install them, because I figured it'd be a pain in the ass to take them off and paint them later. So I'm just using a 600 grit sandpaper to scuff it up a little bit to get the paint to stick. So this is how it was, how it came. It's a little glossy, and this is after I sanded it down. Then I'm gonna wipe it off with a wet rag, get all the sandpaper off, and clean it with alcohol and stuff before I start painting. So this is after the first coat of paint. I want to do fairly light coat for the first one, and then give it about 15 minutes in between, and then go for the second coat, and then I'm going to do a clear coat after. So this is after a couple of coats of paint and a couple coats of clear coat. Now ready for install. Before I painted it, I lined it up with the bumper and pre-drilled a couple holes where I'm going to have the screws. I lined up this part with the curve of the bumper right here and drilled the holes around the edges. So before I painted this, I lined it up with the bumper, figured out where I was going to put the holes at, and I pre-drilled the holes for the screws. So this is how I laid all the double-sided 3M tape. Probably went a little overboard, but I'd rather it stay on for sure. Alright. So I'm gonna try to like press this side over first, so there's no like weird pockets where it tries to pull up. This part isn't gonna want to stick, so hold this a lot firm right there.
I feel like I can't get that great of a grip without blocking.
So I just installed the first one. I ended up having to drill more holes for the screws than I wanted to, like these two right there. This tip just was not sticking with the tape. And then I had to do one right here too. I'm bummed about that one, but that shit just was not sticking. This double-sided tape kind of sucks. So I need to hold it so the tape doesn't touch anywhere else real quick while I get these little bolts in. We're gonna hold this for a solid minute, 2 minutes. Alright, so I just got the second one installed. This one actually is fitting a lot cleaner than the other one. I didn't need the 2 screws on the end right here. And it's still fitting pretty good with the tape. I held it pretty good. This is still coming up a little bit, but not as bad as the other side. I might put that screw there, but I don't really like how it looks. This is working perfect. I use this little metal bracket to hold that down so it doesn't flap around. Alright, so here's the finished product. We got both sides installed. Fitment isn't perfect, but it's good enough. And this is the side that is a little worse than the other one. See, I need the 2 screws there. I mean, fitment's not as good as like if you got it from the dealership, but looks good enough. And luckily, the paint matches. I got the wrong paint 2 times, so the 3rd time was the charm. And this little point isn't sticking out anymore like I thought it was gonna. So that's it. I hope this video helped you out a little bit. I just couldn't find any decent videos on YouTube on this. There was only like one other one installing it, and they just like skimmed over all like the important parts of the installation, so I tried to help you out a little bit. Obviously, if you buy it from the dealership, it's probably gonna be a little bit better fitment, and you won't have to use as much like TLC to get it to mold into the right shape and all that. Hopefully you won't have to use as many screws as I did, and hopefully it won't take nearly as long as it did for me. But at the end of the day, I made it work, and I think it looks pretty good. So make sure you give this video a like, comment, and please subscribe. It helps a lot. Alright, see you later. Make sure to give your boy a follow on Instagram at DonnieBowDangles for more G35 content. Thanks.